Love is Blind Season 8 is off to a slow start. Let's talk about why I think that is and everything that happened or didn't happen in this batch of episodes. You know what I think this season is missing? Everything. And look, I want to start by saying this. I understand that these are real people with real lives and they are not here for drama. They're here to find love and find a marriage that lasts them a lifetime. They don't owe us drama. They have never owed us drama. But even the people who are in love this season are just not that exciting. See, if the drama was low, but we had a love story like Cameron and Lauren, I would be all over it. But we aren't getting drama or a deep, passionate love story. I think the closest thing to that we're getting is Taylor and Daniel, and I love them together. I'm rooting for them, even though Taylor had that mishap. But I just don't feel that connected to their story. And maybe it's just me. Let me know if y'all feel the same way. Because right now, I'm just wondering if Minneapolis is just not that exciting of a city. And when it comes to the honeymoons, I feel like that footage lasted a really short amount of time. Don't the honeymoon episodes feel like they usually last at least 2 episodes? I feel like this was 1.5 and barely. And a big piece of that is because there's no drama being brought into those episodes. And the reason for that is because none of the love triangles are on the honeymoon. None of the people on the honeymoon really dated each other in the pods. And so we don't have that element of, oh, I'm gonna see this person on the honeymoon and I'm gonna regret my choice or I'm going to be more attracted to them. No, you don't have that because none of them dated. So right then and there, you already getting rid of a huge element of drama. The honeymoon episodes are really where a lot of the drama starts to brew. Think back to Bean Dip or somebody riding a duck across the beach and someone getting the ick. There simply isn't enough tension between these people to make up for the fact that they aren't that exciting on camera. And I specifically say on camera because they're just regular ass people, right? In their everyday lives, they probably funny as hell, you know, all of that, but it's just not translating on camera, and I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just a Minneapolis thing. Now, we did get some dramatic moments, and I'll get into those and why I still don't think they were enough to really carry this batch of episodes. Hey y'all, it's Nae. Welcome back to my little corner of YouTube. This video will contain spoilers for Love is Blind Season 8, episodes 7 through 9, so if you haven't seen them yet and you do not want spoilers, save this video and come back after you do. You are about to hear my thoughts on episodes 7 through 9, but of course, I want to hear yours, so feel free to drop your thoughts below if you do want to participate in the conversation, and give this video a like before you go so I know you enjoyed it. If you want to keep the conversation going after this video, feel free to head on over to my Discord server. It's a place for us to chit chat outside of YouTube, and it's free, so why not? The link is in the description box. So far in this season, Lauren and Dave have the most drama. Several members of the cast, both in the pods and in their kind of intro interviews, have stated that Minneapolis feels like a very small town or is a small town. Basically, everybody knows everybody. So I am not at all surprised that Lauren dated or didn't date, because she's saying they never dated, this guy that Dave knows, even if he only knows him loosely.
My friends they're just like, their first impression already is like, oh, this girl is dating a guy that we know. Apparently this guy thinks that you guys were together literally like within 48 hours of you leaving for the experiment. I mean, my friend was with this guy on a ski trip like a week ago.
You were like, you knew for a fact that I was with him the night before. That's not a fact. It's not true.
How do I know that's not true?
Now, I will say that Dave's friends are nosy as hell. But then again, so is Dave, so it's really not that surprising. He damn near went up to everybody at that couples mixer and was asking them if they've had sex yet, because him and Lauren haven't had sex yet. Like he's some kind of sexual sheriff or something. But when it comes to his friends and his sister, look, I really don't blame them for questioning all of this. His sister was already apprehensive about the fact that he was on Love is Blind. And then she found out in like the most messed up way possible with people gossiping about it on the streets. So yeah, I understand why she's apprehensive. I understand why his friends are overprotective.
My sister knows now. She heard that like Lauren has had a boyfriend going into this. My sister, like she already had her doubts about this and concerns. And now she hears this and it's just gonna probably just make it even worse.
I can't say that I would feel away if I was on this show and I found out that somebody was hooking up with somebody right before they came on the show, because what that got to do with me? I didn't even know you. But from Dave's POV and from his loved one's POV, it's like, how seriously was she taking this experiment beforehand if she was hooking up with somebody right before she came on the show? And there are some discrepancies. Lauren saying, well, it wasn't right before, I didn't see him right before. But I still think for them, especially considering the fact that Dave really hadn't dated anybody in 4 years, and a preview of Molly asking him when the last time was that he had sex and he paused before answering it. Who knows how long he's gonna say it's been? Maybe he's gonna say it was 3 weeks or whatever, but who knows? I think it's like, why weren't you already prepping to be on this show? And In his eyes, preparation could have been being single and acting like a single person. But I guess in her eyes, she technically was acting like a single person. But I guess prepping yourself to get ready to be someone's wife. Like, why were you sleeping around? I do see both sides to it. I also think that I would care a lot more about what they have going on if I thought that they would actually get married. But from the jump, I didn't see this relationship lasting. So I just really don't feel like any of this matters for them in the grand scheme of things. These two are not getting married. Both of them need to say no. I have a feeling both of them are gonna say no. And maybe even before the altar, I don't even know if they're gonna make it that far. Although they're teasing that they are, but probably barely. And like I briefly mentioned, I don't think it's fair the way that his friends and family had to find out that he was on this show. He wanted to tell them in his own time, and I think that's fair. A lot of people go on this show wanting to tell their family in their own time. Virginia told her people she was at a spiritual retreat. You know, whatever. People, I think I would have just told my family I was on the show, but I understand why people don't. They don't want the judgment beforehand, especially in Minneapolis, because Minneapolis sounds like it's a hot mess express. But if you are coming from a place like Minneapolis where everybody knows everybody, you better make sure that a friend of a friend doesn't tell your sister that you're on the show before you get a chance to tell her. Dave's sister seems really reserved and she's hesitant about coming on camera. And for good reason, because they do be slicing and dicing these edits and make it look like a whole other story. And I just love that they were talking about production right in production's face.
Having my parents being open to it, I think that's gonna like help my brother. They just care a lot about how they're being presented, how I'm being presented.
Before I went on the experiment, like she was clicking articles and reading articles that are just blown out of proportion.
But even before all of this really came out, it was still rough watching this relationship take place.
Oh, this is crazy.
I know.
I know.
Watching these two in that hot tub was just brutal.
It's brutal out here.
We see this every so often on this show, where someone cannot make the jump from, I just know what your voice sounds like, to, oh, now I'm seeing you in person and I have to connect that voice to what you actually look like versus how I was imagining how you look in my head. And I've never experienced that, obviously, because I've never been on Love is Blind, but we've had enough of the people on this show say that that can be a hard connection to make for me to understand that, oh, okay, that is like a mental thing that you kind of have to connect the dots on. And Lauren sounds like she's struggling connecting those dots. And it's almost like they were filling their awkward silences with kissing instead of going through those awkward moments and learning how to get past them.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, I think that you should be able to have awkward silences with your significant other, but they shouldn't be so awkward. You should be able to sit in silence with someone who you are married to and just sit there and it be okay. But for them, it's not okay. It is very awkward. So they're just going, and then kissing. Like, y'all really got to work through that. Well, not y'all, because I don't think y'all gonna last anyway. But a couple would need to be able to work through that and be okay with it. You know, like on a first date when y'all don't really have nothing to talk about or it's not really going that well, you just start pointing out the things that are happening around you. Like, oh, look at that thing that's happening over there.
I thought like a coconut was gonna fall on your head.
The dunk tank is wild.
And Dave keeps saying,
I feel like I'm very used to this already.
really, they both kind of keep saying it. But it's like they're saying it to convince themselves, because I don't think they believe it, and I definitely don't believe it. Then we have Dave already throwing hints that this is going absolutely nowhere.
Engaged or not, this experiment is so good for me personally.
So yeah, I'm calling it now. They're both going to say no. I wish that they would do it before the altar, but we already know that they're going to make it to the altar because they're showing that in the preview, that Dave is not answering her phone calls or something. They just don't have good chemistry at the end of the day. That's what it is. I also wanted to briefly talk about this moment right here because I think I missed this, but when I was watching footage back during editing, I saw it. Lauren is going to talk about how she was getting a bikini wax and the lady told her that she can't have sex or exercise, and she was so surprised by that. And I'm wondering if this was her first time getting a wax, because I don't get waxed, but I do get sugared, and they always tell you that. So someone who gets waxed or sugared regularly would already know that you can't have sex within 24 hours of having that done. So I don't know why she's acting like, oh, so surprised, pretending to be bummed, like, aw, I really wish I could because I was really looking forward to having sex. Like, girl, you knew that you couldn't. That's literally what they tell you every time you go to get waxed.
And I got a bikini wax. And then in the middle of my wax, she was like, yeah, for the next 24 hours, no sex, no working out. I was like,
after the wax? Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that.
I was so bummed because that was like,
Yep.
I was so pumped to do that.
When it comes to Monica and Joey, this is the type of stuff that lets me know that they absolutely chose the right person. These two are just as goofy as I thought they would be. Or really, I should say just as goofy as I knew that Joey was gonna be. Because like I said, I feel like we didn't really know Monica, but they are in a silly goofy mood together. Like, they're good for each other. And I said, and still stand by this, I feel like they have the purest connection. I'm rooting for them and her sound machine. And Monica's envious ass sister needs to mind her goddamn business, bitch.
Mind your damn motherfucking business, bitch.
Monica's sister started to feel personally attacked the moment that Joey joked about the fact that her man still wanted Monica. Now, in case you're only watching commentary and you aren't actually watching the show, Monica briefly dated, and I don't even know if I want to say dated, her sister's boyfriend. And it was one of those situations where it's like they went on a date or two. I don't know. They didn't say how many, but whatever. They were going on these dates or they met up, and Monica was like, actually, I think you would like my sister more. And so she introduced him to her sister, and it turns out that, yeah, he did like her sister more, and now they're together. So didn't even really date, nothing like that. It was just like, we aren't good, but I think my sister actually would be good for you. Now, Joey, in the way that Joey does, made a joke like, he's just working on his plot to get back to your sister. And you could immediately see Monica's sister's face change.
You're cute, you guys. You're cute together.
Stop.
Are we cute together?
Absolutely.
I would like my sister so much more.
He's still trying to get to Monica.
That's why I'm here.
He's working the system.
I'm looking at my competition.
Got you right where he wants you.
Yeah. My plan is working out.
Here's the thing. I think if you know Joey even a little bit, like, and I mean a very little bit, like as much as we know Joey, you know that he's just like, that's just how he is. That's just a funny thing to say. That man didn't mean that. And I think that her sister knew that he didn't mean that. Her sister seems just like a bitter person.
I didn't think that you would be getting married first. Like, I'm 5 years older than you. I almost feel like it's I have to do it first, you know?
Yeah.
But no, it's you. My only worry is you do it, you get married, and then you have to get divorced. He's not your type.
I don't have a type.
Even his personality, like, is he the right personality for you? I don't know.
Like, okay, girl, your man didn't propose to you soon enough. Maybe that's a conversation you need to have with your man. Why, if he knows you want to be married and he ain't doing it, clearly y'all have a disconnect. Monica's man wants to marry her. What you gonna do about it? Like, how are you mad at that? I can't even fathom disliking Joey. He is literally a golden retriever. Like, what is there not to like about that man? He's good for your sister. You just envious. And as I was watching this back, I also just wanted to add in that part where her sister was saying, I'm older than you. I feel like it's my, and then she paused and said, I feel like I should be doing it first. I feel like she was gonna say, I feel like it's my right to get married first. But then she realized that that was an insane thing to say, and so she didn't say it. I feel like Monica's sister has spent a lot of Monica's life being envious of her and using that envy to kind of make Monica second guess herself. Like, are you sure about this man? Yeah, we're all sure about this man. It's Joey. Joey opens up about having OCD and how he has learned to kind of cope with that unmedicated, which, shout out to him. That is a very difficult diagnosis to get through unmedicated, because it's a compulsive disorder. So it's just the way that your brain kind of ticks. So shout out to him for doing that unmedicated. But I am gonna need Monica to get it together for my boy, because after hearing about that story and her pile of clothes that she left on the floor, pick your damn clothes up off the floor before you have my boy stressed out.
After I cleaned it, I just like dumped it in my closet floor, and there's like a pile. It was all clean. There's just like a pile there. Legs started to come out of this white thing. I whipped them off my body. It was a spider's nest.
How long was it in your closet?
So Taylor and Daniel, this whole does he know her, does he not know her thing, I feel like we came to the conclusion that he didn't know her. They didn't really say for sure. Production, like I said, they should have in my last video, finally brought out a phone. Now granted, I think they should have brought his phone out and checked his pictures to see if those pictures matched up with what Taylor was saying she remembered. But nevertheless, they brought out Taylor's phone. She used, I guess, like a unfollow app to see who has unfollowed her, and she didn't see him on that list. And that's how we determined that he in fact did not follow her. But now she feels crazy and is probably concerned that Daniel's gonna think about that and say no at the altar, because it's like, why was this crazy girl acting insane and being like, I know you follow me? So now she's over apologizing for it.
I still feel really bad. I don't regret having the conversation, but I do regret the way that I handled that conversation.
But look, this is Love is Blind. Emotions are high and there's a lot going on very quickly. I really do think this is just going to be something funny that they tell their future children about, like, hi, your mom was crazy and thought that I was like tricking her, and it's just going to be a story that they tell. Let's move on, nothing to see here. Again, I love their Christmas traditions.
When I go somewhere, I buy a Christmas ornament that's specific to that place.
I really do think these two are so cute together, and Daniel just really loves being next to her, which, like, honestly, what more could you ask for? A guy who's obsessed with you is like everything.
This is kind of exciting.
What?
Just this.
Unpacking?
Yeah, just like unpacking together. Hey.
Wish I could play Taylor Swift while we unpack.
He's just so cute when it comes to her, and they like Taylor Swift, so I like them. Even more of a bonus, both sets of parents really seem to get along, not only with them as a couple, but with each other. And they also seem to really value marriage. Now, I don't subscribe to the whole divorce is not an option thing, but I can understand why people say it, and I understand the ideology behind it, so I'm a rock with it. I'm also trying to remember if this is the first time that both sets of parents have met each other prior to the weddings, but I'm not sure. But they get along great. I kind of love them as like a full family dynamic, and I don't think there's any doubt that these two are going to get married. Daniel is not a hand washer though, and I'm gonna need him to get that together before we get to these vows, because wash your hands. I don't see how after 2020 somebody cannot wash their hand. And then the thing is, like, if you're not a hand washer, but you're getting to know someone that you don't really know, you would think that just out of first impressions, you would probably wash your hands. And on top of that, you would think that if you know you're being filmed, you would also do it. But I think after a while, you probably just forget that the cameras are there and you just go about living life. And that's good, because now we know he don't wash his damn hands. That's my only issue with him, is I need him to wash his hands. Now we have Devin and Virginia. Now they're going to run with this prenup story. Virginia told him about this prenup very early on, and she even sat down in front of his family and told them.
We also entertained like the idea of a prenup. I think that's kind of just like the modern way of doing things. I want to create generational wealth.
Is that why you want the prenup?
No, I think a prenup for me is just like, if the worst thing possibly happens, then it's just like a financial. I just don't understand why everybody doesn't have a prenup. I don't know.
We've had a lot of prenup discussions on my channel because of Love is Blind, and while I still can't ever see myself signing one, I do have a better understanding of why people have them and why people think they're important and how people think that they're just a part of getting married and don't see them as this negative black cloud over a marriage, which is, I think, historically how they were viewed. In Virginia's case, she's a doctor. She's probably going to make more money than Devin. And I think she just sees it as protecting herself and protecting her own interests, protecting her PhD, and I can't blame her for it. She said, look, I don't want your stuff either. If we get to the end of the road and this don't work out, I don't want to leave with your stuff and I don't want you leaving with my stuff. And I think when you frame it like that, it's like, okay, oh, she don't want my stuff either. She probably explains it that way because it makes the blow softer, but that is what she said. She's like, I want everybody to leave this marriage with exactly what they came with, and I really can't be mad at that. One thing I don't like though is how Devin's family is acting like Virginia is some 65-year-old woman or something.
When it comes to kids, I know you're a bit older, so are you gonna do that like right away?
She's 33. Y'all realize he's right around the corner from being 30, right? I do think that their relationship has good banter, which is very important. People don't put enough emphasis on the banter. Joey does. He puts plenty of emphasis on it, but they have great banter in their relationship, which is going to be super important. I can't say if I think that Devin and Virginia are going to actually get married or not. Maybe I'll have more input on that after next week, but for right now, I see them as having a good base. That's about it. I do want to speak on the pod mixer though, because they keep teasing this whole thing about Devin being like, oh, things seem so easy with you when he's talking to Brittany.
With you, it just seems like very easy and comfortable.
Gorgeous as well.
For sure.
Now, one, he could be saying, oh, I told Virginia things seem so easy with you, and they could just be cutting that part out. They could be doing that. And also, they keep cutting in the fact that Brittany says, and gorgeous too. I think she's talking about the fact that things are nice and easy with Virginia, and also she's gorgeous, so that doesn't hurt the situation. They keep cutting that, trying to start drama. That's not what's happening in that scene. I can almost bet my bottom dollar. Actually, I'm gonna need that dollar. That is not what's happening in that scene. See, after watching so many seasons of this, you just start to be like, I understand how they cut this. And I think many of us have seen plenty of seasons of this show, so we know exactly how they cut stuff. Now, last but not least, we have Sara and Ben. You know what? Ben is kind of growing on me. I know I tore into him a video or two ago. Bro packed his own fan in case he got hot in Honduras. And I really cannot be mad at that, because I am a hot sleeper and I overheat very easily. And the moment, I can never snap when I want to snap. The moment that it gets too hot, I'm waking know? Like, why is it hot? So I understand bringing the fan. But apparently there's some woman online who is claiming that Ben manipulated her and I guess tricked her into thinking, kind of led her on in a way. I'm gonna look into it after I upload this and see if anything starts to trickle out once these batch of episodes release. But I don't know. The thing about Love is Blind is you are often gonna have people who come out of the woodwork saying, oh, I knew this person is terrible. Sometimes those accusations hold weight and they mean something. Sometimes it's just people trying to get their 5 minutes of fame. So you really have to take it with a grain of salt until there's more information. Now, there is something suspicious. Ben keeps saying, well, I don't remember what happened with her.
I honestly don't remember. All I remember was it was 4 years ago, and it was a short amount of time that we were talking.
That's weird. Even if I think they were saying it was like 5 years ago or something. Even if it's 5 years ago, unless you was running through women like you in the Olympics, you should remember that one person who is saying this, especially because he said he saw the video and he knows which woman it was. So unless he has so many women that he can't keep track of them, he should remember how that ended. For now though, the only thing I want to do with Ben is reach through the screen and rip those damn sunglasses off the back of his head. I hate seeing that. It feels so douchey for someone to wear their sunglasses on the back of their head. I don't know why, but it just does. And to Sarah, I'm just gonna say, leave that man alone about not washing his hair every day. I don't know if white people realize that most black people really don't be washing their hair every day. Like, that's not something you should have to do every day unless you have really oily hair. I can see why you would wash it every day, but if you don't, then like, what's the point? What else can I really say about this batch of episodes? Not much, because as we all know, it's definitely something strange going on with this season. I will reiterate though, their music budget for this season is top tier. I don't know who they got working on the music this season, but shout out to that person because they got the bangers coming through. But anyway, I think the thing that'll be brewing the most next week is this Ben situation, maybe the prenup situation, and I guess Dave and Lauren, whatever they gonna end up doing. It's 7 a.m. I'm finishing in perfect time because 7 a.m. is like when the school buses start coming and then start getting noisy outside. So this is perfect timing for me to be ending. I'm going to go eat some breakfast, edit this, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye! There we go. Gotta remember to turn off your fucking broadcaster voice like I'm a news anchor. Barely. If you want to keep the conversation going after the... What is the line? His eyes are closed. Love that song. Rodrigo. Libby. It's like my worst nightmare to be recording and then I'm actually not recording and then it's like, or my mic wasn't on or something. Oh, you're awake. I told you I was recording this morning. Okay, fine. I've stated that Minneapolis smells